Hi all. Everything in my video is pulled from the public domain, and I am using them under the Fair Use, Fair Dealings guidelines. Everything I say is my own opinion. You should look into this information for yourselves, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Good morning, everybody. The news just never stops. If it stopped, I would take a day off, but it never stops. All right, we're starting off with this photo that was sent to me by one of my subscribers named Simon. I hope I say it right. This is the Bintry Watermill by the village of Geist in Norfolk. And this was an early morning image that was taken in the mist. It is a beautiful photo. Thank you for sharing. Next up, this photo came from a subscriber named Rosa. She's telling me that Monday is Canadian Thanksgiving, and she wants a shout out. Shout out! Happy Thanksgiving, you guys. Apparently, this picture is in autumn Canadian colors in Oakville, Ontario. It's 16 Mile Creek. Beautiful. All right, let's get on to our stories for today because there is a lot. We're going to start off this morning by wishing a happy birthday to Prince Edward, Duke of Kent. He was born in 1935 to Prince George, Duke of Kent, and Princess Marina of Greece and Denmark. He got his title at the age of 7 when his father died, and he dedicated his entire life to royal service and still is working at this time. Amazing. And for those who are unaware, he served in the armed forces for 21 years and was very passionate about honoring veterans, especially those who fought in World War I and World War II. So he's one of the family members that goes about quietly doing his work, uncomplaining, unselfishly, and doesn't court the limelight. You know what I'm saying? He just shows up and does his job. I think that's wonderful. Happy birthday to you and many, many more. Next up, for those who are unaware of it, the royal family started sharing series of photos that are highlighting the life and work of Camilla, from her love of rescue dogs like me, to her charity involvement and the Queen's endorsement. Now, let me just say that we know that the crown is coming out. We know they're going to hit Camilla up, and we know that Harry's going to trash her in his book. I don't know if they're putting this out to paint Camilla in a good light before all that happens, but I'll let you know that I don't need this because I already love her. She's done her due, guys. All right, moving on. Talking about Charles and Camilla, they once again attended a private church service near Balmoral, and they both look very at ease and happy. I'm glad to see Charles is happy. Next up, the Earl of Wessex, Edward, arrived in Romania for the Duke of Edinburgh's INT Award 14th International Forum. This is held every 3 years, and they bring together international leaders to discuss and plan the future growth of the award worldwide. Love it. Now, while that's going on, it's been announced that the Countess of Wessex, Sophie, will visit Malawi from October 12th through the 14th to celebrate trachoma elimination with the partners there and to see programs that led to achievement of this positive milestone. I think that's wonderful. All right, I hope I'm saying this correctly. Sophie, in the meantime, was in Botswana visiting the Molifi Primary School in Kopang. Yes, I think I said that correctly. You guys, I'm really trying to pronounce these correctly, but this is really hard for me. So while she was there, Sophie met the president of the Republic of Botswana, Mr. Makwitsi, in the president's office at Garaborani, Botswana. Okay, I really mean no disrespect. I'm really trying hard. She looks fabulous. All right, next up, we have these kinds of stories. Spotify has canceled, as I showed you the other day, 11 original podcasts because it's redirecting its funding. Now, it says it's a big hit like Meghan Markle's Archetypes and Kim Kardashian's True Crime Show. Okay, now, let me just say, as I've shown you guys before, Archetypes was not number one. It did not knock Joe Rogan off the top. That's what Spotify said, but that's not what the numbers showed. They were manipulating the numbers because they want you to think it's fabulous, because they want you to listen, because they're trying to get their money's worth. It's not helping. It's not helping people. And now this came out, so just listen to this.
Thank you,
I've got to
Pete.
tell you also, in other sad news, the podcast, Meghan's podcast, has been knocked off #1 position in Spotify, and Kim Kardashian has taken over that #1 spot. So there you go.
That is amazing, Pete, and I think I speak on behalf of both of us when I say we're just both very glad that Henry VIII isn't around to see this.
All right, moving on. Now the stories are coming out. Meghan, I think Meghan sees Harry as weak. She wants Harry to stand his ground and not change his memoir. You know, I think Harry is the one having second thoughts. I don't think Meghan gives two craps about the royal family. I think that's obvious. And that is part of what I don't get. She wants her kids to have titles, but yet she wants to destroy the monarchy. You can't have it both ways. You know what I'm saying? Ugh, moving on. Not much to say about this headline. I think that's pretty obvious. If you want money, you have to work. All right. Now, next up, the story came out, that I told you the other day, Harry and Meghan were planning on bombarding the Queen with all kinds of wonderful things to try to get back into the fold. But then the Queen died. So now they have to deal with Charles and William. And Charles and William are very unhappy with them. Yeah, think so? So I'm only going to say one thing about this, you guys. Charles is not the pushover you think he is. He has to do what the UK wants if he wants to have a smooth transition, and the UK does not want Harry and Meghan. They just don't. All right, let's move on. Okay, this article came out. I found this very interesting because basically what it points out, which is absolutely true, is that almost everybody has a Meghan Markle in their family. Someone who's willing to ruin somebody else's reputation to enhance their own. They're very empowered by cancel culture, and they see victimhood as currency. She's the jealous sister-in-law or the abusive spouse, that kind of thing. So here we go. This is a perfect example that was brought up in the article. Ahead of her marriage to Harry, Meghan Markle made Catherine cry. And she did this by insisting that Charlotte could not wear stockings to the wedding. And to have bare legs at a formal event is against royal protocol. And the dresses that Meghan picked for the girls were insufficiently modest. Having 20 years of experience, Catherine worried about the daughter stumbling and revealing too much. And therefore, Meghan was persisted. She summoned the flying monkeys, which were her friends, and they bullied Charlotte. And after the story came out, knowing that the family could not, fight back, Meghan flipped the story around and said that Kate made her, cry. We all know what actually happened. And we all saw the video of Meghan bullying Charlotte at the wedding. Yep. So Meghan Markle, as the article says, she's fashioned herself as the symbolic antithesis of monarchy. She hates the monarchy. She hates the order. She wants it gone. She hates what the firm represents, but she still wants the honorary titles. She still wears the monarchy like a cape, a profitable skin suit, while she hollows out its dignity. That's exactly what she does. People like this, let me just throw something out here, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. My son is trying to demand this high salary, saying, I have all this education. I'm like, dude, nobody cares about your education. They only care about your experience. Yeah, see my point? Moving on. Next up, Nana Akua, I hope I'm saying her right, had something to say about Harry and Meghan's global appeal. This woman, every time she speaks, pearls of wisdom just fall from her mouth. So here's a little snippet of what she had to say. Listen to this.
Meghan, if various reports are to be believed, are now trying to backtrack on their Netflix documentary. The couple appear to be losing their global appeal. It seems the Sussexes are beginning to realise that being royal is a pretty good gig. It is reported that Harry is now also allegedly trying to make amendments to his memoir, which by all counts will now be published next year. May I suggest that whilst the publisher may make a rip-roaring trade by selling this book, which I won't be buying, for the Duke and Duchess of Montecito, it might be the straw that breaks the camel's back. In fact, according to reports in The Sun, there are now even suggestions that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle aim to spend a year trying to reconcile relations with the firm once Harry's memoir has been published. Good luck with that one. The penny appears to be dropping that without the monarchy behind them, joining the rat race is not all it's cracked up to be.
So there is nothing I could add to that would make it sound any better than what she said, because that is essentially what's going on. Harry and Meghan can't make the changes to the Netflix documentary. Netflix wants their pound of flesh. They can't make changes to the book because the book people want their pound of flesh, and now they're in trouble. Oh well. All right, next up, I think we already know this, but I'm just going to point it out anyway. That reconciliation plan is not going to work if Charles and Camilla are slammed in the book. If he says one bad thing about Camilla, it is over. Oh, Harry. All right, this story I had to bring up because it's been pointed out that Harry and Meghan want to be part of the Hollywood elite, part of the Hollywood scene and the Hollywood world. Or basically, I should say Meghan wanted that. But as people pointed out, neither one of them has any charisma. Neither one of them has any talent that would rise them to the top in Hollywood. The news people are saying that Meghan has a mixture of narcissism and this California wokeness that's so unappealing, nobody really is interested in her. All right, I hope I'm saying his name right, but former Liberal Democrat MP Lembit Opik said that had the two just been regular people working at regular jobs, nobody would be interested in anything that they have to say. And he said that because they have nothing to sustain it other than the tie to the royal family, which is getting thinner and thinner, now you're seeing the slow decline of their popularity. He pointed out that Harry and Meghan bit the biggest hand that they could have bitten that fed them, and that was the royal family. And he also pointed out, you know what, if you're going to write a kiss and tell all about the family, don't expect them to just forgive you. Now, they also point out that Harry is just as culpable as Meghan is, but they also point out the fact that people listen to Meghan even though she's been caught lies like the Hillary Clinton letter, which we know now is completely untrue, but yet it keeps getting repeated and repeated and repeated. Hillary Clinton never wrote to her. You know what I mean? Yeah, they're declining quick. I mean, the newspapers are very clearly pointed out that Meghan has gone mental. Tell me something we didn't know. All right, next up, we know that Harry missed the World Child Awards because the Queen passed. So he did a Zoom call. Again, they called it a surprise. There was nothing about a surprise about this. So one of the calls that he made was with a 10-year-old boy who is the only known survivor of a rare bacterial brain infection that she picked up during treatment for a brain tumor. He also spoke to Tony Hudgell. We all know what happened to him. And of course, Tony raised $1.7 million for the hospital that treated his injuries. That's what I call activism. You go, boy. He also spoke with 8-year-old Harry Byrne. Of course, Harry told him, you have the coolest name in the house. Now, during the call, of course, Harry said, Archie is very busy. And then he says, that his daughter is learning to use her voice. I hope he means she's learning to speak since she's 1 year old. But is anybody surprised that he spoke to a 4-year-old born with serious health problems who won the Inspirational Child Award? And he was there with his parents, and Harry goes, that's a cool award, and I was supposed to be the one giving it to you, and I couldn't be there. And I'm sorry. The kid was like, yeah, that's fine, whatever. Of course he's trying to get sympathy because his grandmother died. Ugh. Ironic. I want to talk again about the Ving partnership and the announcement that came the day after Valentine Lowe's book Courtiers was released, because we all know it was a bit of a deflection. Put out a statement here explaining all about it. But here's what it really is. It's to promote Archewell, Spotify, and Ving. The press release, per the article, doesn't state that Archewell has donated any money, but the wording suggests a donation might have been made. So the idea, according to the article, is to encourage teenage girls to give and learn to be philanthropists. But how can you take that seriously when Meghan won't help her father, won't talk to him, doesn't help out with his medical bills, but uses the money instead to jet around the world and brag about it on Instagram? So no, she's not a good role model. Her father, her sister has medical bills. She hasn't never offered to assist any of them. In fact, she slut-shamed her sister, which is part of the lawsuit going on. Yeah, that's how she supports women. So while the campaign is for you to nominate strong women, it's for 14 to 18-year-olds to nominate women over 18 who are U.S. residents, who are in financial need, and who have inspired them. And some people are suggesting Samantha Markle should be nominated. Yep. So she mentioned she supports women and the spirit of giving, but she never actually says that Archewell is the one donating anything but publicity. So in the meantime, they get clicks on the website to gain personal data. Okay. Also, the $1 million figure that they mention is very vague and seems to be a target. Well, the news had something to say about all of this. Watch this.
Is there...
Meghan and Harry have launched a new project.
Well, kind of, sort of, which is always the case with Harry and Megsy baby. So what they've done is they've launched this new scheme where $1,000 cheques will be given out to needy women. And what happens is if you are between 14 and 18, you can't live in Australia, so you're not eligible. But if you are 14 and 18 in the United States, you can write in and say, this is why I want to have a $1,000 cheque sent to this wonderful lady, because she did this. Now, it's not their money. It's not coming out of the foundation. It's another existing charity, been going on for years. But they want to present it as almost being like, you know, Meghan is Lady Bountiful, or like Ava Peron at the Casa Rosada, you know, throwing out the money for the poor people to try and catch. So they're basically launching it, but it's really nothing to do with them at all, which is often the case with those two.
So I completely agree with this article. I highly recommend you guys read it. But basically the overall view is Meghan Markle is promoting archetype Spotify and Archewell to young, gullible, impressionable people and capturing their data so she can recruit them as followers under the guise of a potential $1,000 grant for someone they know. Boom, drop the mic. Now, I want to throw it out real quick that it was suggested by one of my subscribers that the reason this was happening was because Meghan was hoping to start a database of future voters so that when she is ready to run for office, she's got it tailor made. People 14 to 18 are the ones that are putting stuff in, which means in the next 4 years, even the youngest one will be ready to vote. Interesting. All right, guys, once again, lots of information. You know, I want your comments and your thoughts on everything in this video. So don't forget to leave those comments below and make them good. All right, don't forget to hit the subscribe button to be notified when I upload videos. Don't forget you can follow me on Twitter, Gettr, Rumble. You can email me. Don't forget about my Patreon. All the information is in the description box, okay? For those who have donated to my coffee fund and through my thanks button, thank you so, so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.